Better on Draft podcast is recorded live in Detroit Sound Studios in Royal Oak, Michigan. Now, pop that 40 and kick back with your hosts, Dan, Nick, Ken, Rob, and Matt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 61 of the Better on Draft podcast. My name is Ken. We are here, a full studio. We've got plenty of beer already.
I see
poured.
plenty of open seats. What are you talking about?
Open seats. I mean, there's still 5 of us in the studio.
We've had days where there aren't enough seats.
We have had days where
we definitely have had our fair share of those days.
We had that one day where Brigham was on with Diana Stamfler, and she was just sitting in the corner. I'm like, "You want to join us?" And you're like, "No." I'm like, "All right."
Wasn't Pipenbrock there too?
Pipe might have been. I don't know.
I know he's coming in a couple random.
They just invite each other.
I know they do
on the show.
Well, they're more than welcome to. So.
Oh yeah, they'll actually be on in 2 weeks with Aaron from Balakes, as they call it.
Aaron.
Aaron.
So how'd you get A-Rod come to the show?
No, Aaron. Aaron. So I'm going to start with me. I'm doing well. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Yeah, Ken, no problem.
You have a personality disorder or something now? You're talking to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I talk a lot.
When did you start drinking again?
11 o'clock this morning.
11 this morning.
So 8 hours ago is probably when I had my first beer. It wasn't a blue moon. It was a Belgian moon.
Oh, yeah, because that's what they call it. Yeah, that's what they call it there.
That is still the ultimate in podcast pre-gaming to start at 11.
I'm in Matt Bush territory right now. That's for damn sure.
I'm sorry. I feel bad
Well,
for you.
if that was the case, then there actually should be like a Bush Light or, something of that.
I don't hate myself like Nick.
Oh, you're not punishing yourself?
You're not drinking Ice House?
I had a rough week. Let me drink the shittiest beer possible.
I had a rough week, so I bought a 40 of Ice House. One day he's going to bring in Game Day, and we're going to be confused as to where the hell he got a bottle of Game Day from.
Well, someone brought like Miller Lite Ice or whatever when we did the 40 episode. Like, you can't even get it anymore. Like,
oh no, that was Matt. Matt
Miller Light Ice.
I had the High Life.
Yeah, Matt had like a 2-year-old bottle of beer that we're just like, how the hell did you get this? And I think we liked it too. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I don't recall it being horrible, but.
So Dan, what are you drinking over there?
I got a frosty King 40 right here.
King 40.
Oh, King Cobra. King Cobra 40. Apparently, I've been drinking. No, actually, I haven't.
Anheuser-Busch.
I'm going to crack that bad boy open right now.
Pop that 40.
Well, you got like three glasses.
Yeah, what are the other two?
Well, this one is that red velvet one we were trying.
Oh, yeah.
Because we wanted to see if it was like a golden ale or not. And I don't know what this is out of that tap. That's the tap from out front? Yeah.
It's a breakfast stout. That's all I know.
It's not bad, but...
Is it the falling down?
I'd rather
it's from the keg up front.
Oh.
I'd rather drink this 40 than that. Put it there.
Rob, what are you doing over there?
Just sitting here getting ready to take a swig of this brown ale that you brought in.
Sour brown.
Sour brown.
Be prepared. It ain't no regular brown. It's a sour brown. That's for damn sure.
Oh,
Which it's weird because that kind of combines the like love and hate of things that you drink because you love brown, but like sours like around the IPA area.
I mean, there are sour browns that I love, like ABC's Brewing is a sour brown, and I like that.
Yeah.
So, well, I'd love to hear what you think about that sour brown, because we're gonna have a very sour beer coming up soon. That's in front of you. In that is, orange label.
That is very much like, it's a brown ale that has been brewed with Sour Patch Kids for the most part. I mean, it is all the sour and none of the sweet.
Yeah, there's no sweeten to it. It definitely tastes like you would literally be like swigging a brown ale and then following it up with something from Jolly Pumpkin.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I just wish I had a lemon head right now.
To put in there, drop a few lemon heads.
Exactly. At least I'd have that sweet end to it. I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah, sours.
Nick, what are you doing over there?
He's texting.
He's texting.
No.
Texting or
Texting while podcasting.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but working on my Untapped for my beer, the New Holland Dragon's Milk Reserve with coffee and chocolate.
Oh, the coffee and chocolate. Have you gotten a chance to do the coconut yet or no?
I have not.
The coconut one. So obviously we all went on Friday night to the beer festival. So Saturday I wound up having the coconut one, the coconut rum from Dragon's Milk, and it was so smooth, so silk. That coconut's perfect in regards to that beer, to where I was pouring for Ellison, and I was literally leaving Ellison's pour tap to go to Dragon's or New Holland to get Dragon's Milk for me and the other guy pouring, and coming back, and we're like, we also got in trouble there too because we were drinking behind the bar.
Oh, you're not allowed to there?
No,
kind of not supposed to do that.
No, it was there was a few people. Well, not people. There was a few.
Shame on you.
Security officers, we'll call them, that were really cracking down on that.
They really did last year.
So we would literally hop in front of the table, drink, and then hop back behind to
That made
do
everybody
it.
safer. You should feel good about that.
Yeah, I
Made everyone safer.
it was like I understand the legalities, and obviously, you know, when we've had Brigham on and we had Pipe and Brock on, I've personally learned a lot of legalities in regards to beer lines, waiting for, you know, the things that you can do and the things that you shouldn't do because you can interfere with the licenses of that brewery. And once we've learned that, it was just more like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. Right. So we do have one more guest, our guest from Old Nation Brewery, Travis.
Hey.
What's going on? What are you drinking?
Well, right now my cup's empty. I just had some of that New Holland Sour Brown. I thought it was good. I actually did get a little bit of sweetness out of it, but it is intense, man. It is intense. I mean, it's just a sweetness to almost balance, you know. I mean, I think it's really good, but I like that kind of beer a lot.
So what do you do over at Old Nation?
Well, I'm one of the founders and the brewmaster, I guess.
How old is Old Nation?
Old Nation was opened this last year, 2015, on June 10th.
Oh. Fairly new.
I was going to say fairly new, but you guys already have a line of beer that's ready to be brewed, that's already in production, already in stores.
Yeah.
So how did you get from brand new last year to already in stores already?
Yeah. Well, I have been doing this for a long time. So I've been a professional brewer here in Michigan since 2003. And before that, overseas in Central Europe for a while. So I've been around, and I knew a lot of people. And essentially it was, hey, I'm opening up a brewery, pick a distributor, and build a brewery to package and just kind of hit the ground running. And that's a whole different story how that ended up working out. We're actually kind of in our sort of our 2.0 phase now at Old Nation already, a year in, but I suppose we can kind of get to that.
Well, so let's start at least with your American background. So you've been a brewer in the United States since 2003. Where have you been before Old Nation?
When I came back from Germany, I started at actually Michigan Brewing Company as a consultant, working under Pierre Celis and Jean-Luc Seiss, who are two kind of...
Jean-Luc Picard?
Yeah, he's kind of the Jean-Luc Picard of Belgian brewing.
No, that's... Wow, you ruined that. Wow, that's a complete wrong
it's
guy.
the wrong one.
I know.
Wrong story.
Wow. So Pierre Celis is he at Hoegaarden in Belgium kind of resurrected the wit beer style after the Second World War, and then came to Austin, Texas, where he opened up a brewery. He was making wit and a couple other beers. Miller bought them. Michigan Brewing Company bought that brand from Miller. He flew up to Michigan Brewing Company to stay there and help him kind of start the brand up. It had his name on it, so he wanted it to be good. Mm-hmm. He spoke English, but he preferred to speak French. And Jean-Luc, who was responsible for most of the recipes at Unibrew, like La Fin du Monde and Trois Pistoles and all that kind of stuff, was his sort of advisor. And so anyway, they both came up. They preferred to have a translator, and I had just come back from my apprenticeship in Germany, which followed university training over there to become a brewmaster, and so I was kind of the right candidate, and I came from Central Michigan initially anyway. So I worked under them as their translator and apprentice for a while, and then went to Arcadia for a while, worked under George Murphy there. That was back when they were just doing straight-up English-style beers.
Dan's favorite.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, really good ones too. I mean, it's not to say they're not good now, but they've stretched out a lot. And then from there to Rochester Mills, Royal Oak, and then opened up the Detroit Beer Company with partners there. Did Detroit Brewing Company stuff. That's the Detroit Dwarf and a couple other brands as a contract brewer wherever I'd go from brewery to brewery and brew it wherever I could. And then took a couple years to plan this brewery and opened it up.
So you own the rights
All over the place.
Yeah, I was going to say you own the rights to a lot of those beers that you mentioned, like the Detroit Dwarf.
Well, my partner really does. I mean, I do a small portion. I do too.
Okay.
So I'm mostly sweat equity. I don't want to sit here acting like I got a ton of money, man. I'm a brewer, but we do in partnership.
When were you at Royal Oak?
I was at Royal Oak. It would have been in 2000. I think the late winter of 2004 into like the spring 2003 to 2004.
When was the decision?
2009.
Oh, wow, that was way before.
What is this? What is
That
the
was
decision?
more. Yeah.
It's a not necessarily an inside joke, but we actually went to the Royal Oak Brewery and we drank them out of beer.
You did.
Yes.
It was the night when
that's a
LeBron
point of pride,
James
man.
chose what team he was signing
so
with. The decision.
They were filled up. It was a Thursday night. They were filled up before I showed up with about 70 people. And I'm like, it was a rainy day, so of course we couldn't get onto the beer garden. So we were just literally filling up tables as they opened. And finally, like 3 hours in, our choices, like the draft beers were like the choices were slim pickings to the point
They had,
where
like, bottles.
Like we were drinking bottles of Detroit Dwarf and we were drinking bottles of everything. We're like, screw it, we're just gonna go to another bar. So we went to another bar. But nonetheless, so that's why we brought out the whole when did you work? So if we could blame you at any
No, you absolutely can't.
No.
But I actually, what's going on there now, I think is pretty cool. Tim Saluski's used to be the brewer there and is now kind of the general manager of the place. He's got a young brewer out there too, and I think they're doing cool stuff. They're kind of doing throwback traditional stuff and some new stuff, and they're sort of picking their way through the change in the market over the last couple of years. They're doing a good job.
So what made you want to get into brewing?
Nothing. No.
Just like nothing else better to do.
No, kind of.
Just chill and be like, yeah, I'm going to try
You know
this.
what? I'm gonna brew some beer.
You know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, remembering this is like in 2001. So it's not like craft beer wasn't happening, but it wasn't happening anything like it is.
It's not like not like today.
Right.
Yeah.
I spoke German. I was an exchange student in Germany in high school, and I was in college and running out of money as a short story. And somebody recommended that I should check out German universities because they had a bunch of scholarships at the beginning of the European Union. So they had a ton of scholarships for foreign students and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I did. I went to the Technical University in Berlin to study food science. And I've kind of told this story before, but within this college in the Technical University was the VLB, which is a brewing school. And I knew about them because they threw these garden parties every Friday, wherever they brewed beer like as experiments, you know.
Right.
And they had to get rid of it, and they didn't. It would be sacrilege to dump it out. So they cook up some sausage, some sauerkraut, and like some bread.
Hey, let's have a party.
Right. All students could go and get wasted for free on Friday night. It was awesome. So I'm standing around there, and this guy comes up and is like, "Man, you look like a brewer. Do you want to be one?" Long story short, I ended up saying yes because I was running out of money. He was offering me a little bit of stipend, and
Hey, you look like a brewer.
hey, you look like a brewer. That's exactly what he said.
Wow.
You look like a brewer. He said, well, I mean, you know, have you ever, are you in the brewing program? No. Have you ever thought about it? No. Well, you look like a brewer. Do you want to be a brewer? I guess. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess. I'll make beer instead of Twinkies or whatever. That's cool.
Maybe if I'm feeling for it, I guess.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you asked, I will. Yeah. So I kind of stumbled into it and out of desperation more than anything. And then I finished university there and did a number of apprenticeships over there and came back, and craft beer was happening like in 2002, you know?
Right.
So how did you manage to get contracts like Sanders under your belt?
Yeah, that's how I want to know.
Same thing, man. I mean, just being around, you know, was kind of the way it was. I had a reputation as a technical brewer and had done a fair amount of consulting. And I was standing at a restaurant show, and a saleswoman named Diane from Sanders came up to me and said, you ever think about making a chocolate beer? And at that time, even more than now, I was, you could be back then, super rigorous about what I would and wouldn't do. And there was no fucking way I was going to put chocolate in beer. You know what I mean?
Savages coming up to you saying that
Forward.
Remembering, too, this
Blasphemy.
is like 2006.
Right.
And plus, you've been in Germany, so
all
it's
that.
like it's all Reinheitsgebot all day.
Well, I mean, I was cool with stretching the Reinheitsgebot a little, because even German brewers hate the Reinheitsgebot. But not because they can't put chocolate in beer, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, she said, do you want to do this? And I said, no. And then, then she kind of told me a little bit more about Sanders. And I'm like, well, I guess maybe we can give it a shot. And we did. And I think we were successful. This was the first time we put the Sanders brand out was in 2008, I guess. It was on end caps and Meyer, and it was a whole big deal.
That was actually the first time that
I
I tried it, too.
I remember a mutual friend of at least three of us in here. That was like his request for his bachelor party. That was the beer that he wanted was the Sanders.
That's great.
That's awesome. And this would have been in 08, 09.
It would have been like right there. Man.
Yeah, right when it first started. So I remember calling around and finally getting to a holiday market in in Royal Oak, and it was just like, oh, hey, there it is.
It is.
But speaking of beers and trying to get it, it's easy to go to holiday market, but obviously, if you go to Zaytuna Liquor in Rochester
Nice
Hills,
segue.
One word,
It'd
two.
be like
Nice
Ken,
segue.
drive an hour and 10 minutes for beer. But
Well,
they sell it around the
it's
corner.
only like a half hour away from now. If you go to Zaytuna Liquor,
boy.
M59 and Adam, wow, M59 in Rochester Road.
Rochester.
Rochester Road,
You drive
just
there
south of
twice a day,
M59.
Ken. Let's go.
Man.
In
What's
between
that?
M59
You drive there
South.
twice a day. You don't know where it's at?
It feels like it. Damn, with all the driving that I do.
And drinking you did today.
Oh yeah, a little bit of
Drinking
the
and
drinking.
driving in the
Right.
car.
But go say hi to Jack, Gus, if you're at the other location. But nonetheless, they have all the beers that you want. Tell him what you want; he'll get it as long as it's within reason. Don't ask him for some ridiculous like, can you pick up a 2012 bottle of 120? No, he can't.
He seems like the kind of guy that's completely comfortable telling you that he can't.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it doesn't seem like you're going to be embarrassed.
he's not going to be like, come back in a week.
Yeah, right.
No.
Right.
He's gonna be like, he's gonna look at you and be like, guy, no,
You're dumb.
no. What are you even looking at? What are you talking about?
Go
No,
home.
got
You're
to meet him.
drunk.
Got to meet him for the first time yesterday.
I was gonna say, yeah, he texted me that he was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Rob's here."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I walked up. I was like, "Are you Jack?" He's like, "It depends. Do I owe you money?" I'm like, "No."
"Well, technically, yes. Yes, you
And
should
then-
have money for."
And it's like, "You must be Robert from Better on Draft." I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, well, I owe Ken money." So
He sent me out on the muscle.
I'm like, "Wow, I just came."
I was
in here
gonna say,
just
if this
strong-armed the shit out
guy
of him
came
already.
in, he was just like, "Hey, you owe me
You owe me
money,
fucking money,
You're like,
pal.
all right, here you go. I don't
It'd
know
be a
what I
shame if something
did.
happened to your
know.
wife and kids.
I know. I didn't even say anything about money. I was actually legitimately buying a bottle and was going to say, "Hey," and all of a sudden, "Hey, I owe Ken money." I'm like, "Oh,
Did you pick up the 12 pack, or was it not there yet?
it wasn't there."
It wasn't there.
With a
yet.
12-pack of...
Oh, the 12 Days of
Milkshake.
Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
12 days of milkshake.
Yeah, I got 2 of them already.
Yeah, no.
Do you really?
Yeah, I already bought 2 of them.
I heard the cinnamon French toast crunch is actually pretty good too.
That's a thing.
I don't know.
Dude, if you
Something
look
like
at if you
that.
look at the contents of
Everything's
inside
a
that thing, it's absurd as to how many variants they got.
I
going there.
definitely.
Would you say there are 12 variants of milkshake stout, Nicholas?
Possibly.
How many of each are there?
One of each.
Just
One of each.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
12
12
pack.
pack.
Yeah,
I didn't hear it was a 12-pack.
12 pack? I think it retails something around $25.
You could have,
It's
you could
20
have
it's
2 of
$25,
each and
yeah.
still have.
But I will.
Knock it off. Go, Ken, you're drunk.
Yeah,
Go home.
I ended up
Go
going
drive
directly
home.
to.
You're drunk.
Oh,
Go
geez,
drive.
taking his
I feel like
headphones
Ken's
off.
making sense.
Yeah, no, I went to the brewery yesterday.
Oh, did you?
And picked up a couple.
Thanks for telling us
You're welcome.
if we
Yeah.
wanted any.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
I believe you could also get them at Myers too.
I'm gonna have
You
to.
can. For
You
sure.
can? Yep,
Yeah,
there you
I was
go.
talking to Mike
Myers.
Plez just today. He said he sent some cases over to Myers.
I'll go check out the 8 Mile Mile on
There
my
you
way
go.
home.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely put that up against because I got a hold of a couple cans of Pigeon Hills Your Mom and French Toast.
Oh,
So I'm gonna have to put it up against that.
There you go.
Really? I would keep those and wait like 3 months, and that will be the biggest trade bait you'll ever have.
Or just pour it in the garbage. That stuff was terrible. We stood first in line for that, and I just wanted to
loved
dump
it.
it on
Screw
the ground.
You were talking about your mom on French toast?
Yeah.
You didn't care for it?
No.
Oh,
And we were literally front of the line. I was like, no, this is a waste of time.
We just happenstance to be front of the line. Like we showed up, we were talking to the Pigeon Hill people at the Fall Beer Fest, and then sure enough a line started
Everyone
behind
lined
us,
up
and
behind us.
we're like
Okay.
it's 10 minutes to the release. I guess we could wait.
Yeah. Now that's a line you'll stand in.
We didn't even know we started it and we didn't even know it. What was funny is I was talking to everybody about the podcast and stuff, and Brock's like literally like yanking on my collar, like, come on, you need to get back to the front so you can get your damn beer.
Goodness.
Oh, so you've been brewing beer for years.
I've been doing that, yeah.
Why, like, what do you like about it so much? Like, what is it that keeps you continuously brewing beer?
Well, I'm 37 years old, and I've been doing it since I was 21, so I'm kind of locked in at this point, to be completely frank.
Pot committed.
I do really like it. And I'll tell you that, after having, kind of consulted and been involved in, what's that?
No, you're fine. I was playing
Sorry. For the home listener, I'm trying to track what's going on in here. But in any event, I had shit, I forgot what we were talking about. I got completely thrown off my game.
You're pot committed.
Pot committed. 21
committed into your
yeah. I love brewing, but I'll say that after having consulted and been kind of a production consultant and business consultant, I lost a great deal of passion for it, to be completely frank. And then having opened this brewery, I kind of opened this brewery with that vibe. It was like, man, I'm going to make some beer and put it out to these people. And, it's not that I wasn't making good beer. I just wasn't putting a great deal of thought into the styles that I was making or what it was that people wanted. I kind of went out and was like, well, here are beers that I like that I can't get. I'm going to put some in a bottle and just go for it, right? That I know are going to be good.
Right.
And that didn't really work at all. And I had this big brewery that we built kind of hanging over my head, and it was in that moment of like kind of duress that we kind of turned a corner and found a new direction, and it's really sort of reinvigorated my passion for actually, I say passion, I think it's a silly word, but it's kind of what it is, for creating beer and making new beer and being, really technical and specific like I was, but kind of stretching out and poo-pooing stuff like that stout less than I did. And just kind of accepting the market for what it is now, as opposed to sort of cleaving to this hundreds of years of tradition and master apprentice relationship
the
that I came
old
up in.
school. I got old school styles of brewing. The different,
Yeah.
That's basically what it is, because maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but, I got this Dragon's Milk here, for example. These really didn't get really into style, maybe not until recently, I guess.
Folks were making them, but folks weren't really buying them.
Yeah. It was probably a niche market back then.
Totally.
It was
which is kind of where old brewers, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, by all means.
That's kind of where I say old, right? Guys have been doing it for a long time like me. Came from when we were looking at those beers. It was like, look, there's nothing wrong with making that kind of beer, right? If you want to, and if people are buying, it's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But if that's all you do is make some strong beer and put some shit in the beer and then put that beer with the shit in it in a barrel and wait 3 months, you know what I mean? And then charge people $19 a bottle, I'm not sure that that's a noble thing to do. You know what I mean? I don't know that really cleaves to what being a brewer is.
Right.
Turns out, you can make it do that if you focus on what you're doing and try hard enough. I just kind of was in the same. There's a lot of old brewers like me were kind of like, fuck that, man. Rookies are coming in from their homebrew kits, and they're going, man, I freaked out some squares in my homebrew group by putting dry bubble gumming this Hefeweizen. And guys like me are like, go fuck yourself, man. You know what I mean? Like, what did you do in terms of controlling your mash temperature and all the kind of stuff that you actually need to do to make a good Hefeweizen, and then tell me about how you put Big League Chew in it afterwards.
Big League Chew.
Love Big League.
When was the last time anyone had Big League Chew in this room?
I don't
12,
know.
13 years
Right?
ago.
So you mentioned. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but the truth is, you can do both, and that actually is the challenge that we're getting into now.
Yeah,
is how to do that. Like, how do you do that kind of stuff professionally?
Right.
Right.
And do it on a mass scale.
And do it on
as
a mass
opposed
scale.
to something. experimental, small batch, that sort of thing.
And give it some meaning. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just I'm doing this because I think nobody else has, which is not a good reason to make a beer.
Right.
But I'm doing
or you're
this,
doing it just for the money.
Right, like I said, just to kind of freak out squares, you know what I mean? But
freak out squares.
I think that's the first time we've heard that phrase on this show.
I think that's in general for when we say plebs.
CBYs?
The CBYs.
Yeah,
CBYs.
The Philistines.
So what's upcoming for Old Nation? What's coming up soon? Is there anything big?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, we'll see how it's up to other people than me to decide whether or not it's big, I suppose. But Ken, I don't know if you fellas are members of the Detroit area craft beer enthusiasts.
Some of us are DACME followers.
We monitor.
I figure you might be.
We just linger.
That sounds,
or
linger.
No, lurkers.
That sounds better because monitor sounds like a moderator, and you're sitting there just waiting to just crack your yeast to leak.
Inspectors.
Like,
no foul language.
Yeah.
No. We just watch. We just watch.
So
some post.
This Detroit area craft beer enthusiast is a Facebook group, and it's huge. I mean, it's got like thousands of members.
Yep.
And it's active, and the moderators are great. And at one point, there was this thread about these New England IPAs on there, like Trillium and Tired Hands, and
I didn't see that. Whatever.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much every other week. Like Well, and if you ever see a trade right now, it's like for trade XYZ ISO New England IPA fresh.
Sounds like a personals ad.
Yeah,
pretty much. ASL, please.
Yeah, ASL. We're in a chat with Yahoo chat.
It's an AOL chat.
Oh my god!
So they had this thread about these New England beers, and I think most people probably listening to this podcast are familiar with what they are. But just in case they're not, they're this really super aromatic and super hop flavored IPAs that aren't particularly bitter. They have this really pillowy kind of mouthfeel, and they tend to focus on citrus that are coming from these disco hops like Galaxy or whatever, Mosaic,
John Travolta, disco hops.
John Travolta.
Well, we call them in the brewery, we call them disco beers and disco hops.
Disco
they kind of come and go, people go crazy about them, and then nobody gives a shit.
Right.
But anyway, so we had there's this thread about these beers, right? And Nate, my brewing partner at Old Nation, he and I have been brewing for 8 years together. He also graduated from UC Davis, has been brewing for about 15 years.
Nice.
And I had researched these New England IPAs earlier in the year, this year, and gone down to like old scientific reports that came out of Sapporo about hop biotransformation and all this kind of stuff. And so anyway, we had done this research in this thread. It was, this guy asking essentially, why are they hazy and why do they taste like this and why can't anybody make one of these in Michigan and all that kind of stuff. And the truth is, anybody could make them, but nobody really was at that time. And I had gone through and posted in response to this question as much as I knew. It was like maybe a 1,200 word post that was like, this is what it is and this is where the haze is coming from and all that kind of stuff. And it got a really good response. And at the end of that kind of thread and those responses, I was like, look, man, if you guys want to know more about it, I'll buy the raw materials. Why don't you come out and we'll make one?
Oh, wow.
So we did. And that has turned out to be really successful. The first batch was really good. It didn't nail it. It was a pilot batch. It was the first time we'd done it.
Right.
But the second batch we did, which is what we always call our target batch, really did sort of nail the style. And so that is a beer that we call the M43. It is probably the most talked about beer we've made outside of the Sanders beers. And we're doing, like a canning next Saturday during 4Elf, right? We're trying to catch people coming from Detroit, right, to Marshall. And I guess we can probably talk about Dark Horse a little bit more later. But, anyway, so it's this canning, it's this whole like Krispy Kreme idea of this beer because it has to be as fresh as possible. It's so bright in terms of hops that the edge falls off after, maybe 3 weeks or so. So the idea is, look, we're charging a fair price. Come out. You can see your 4-pack get canned if you want and take it home with you. It's as fresh as you can get it.
Straight off the teat.
Right. And I have some of that here, too, that we can taste whenever you guys want.
Straight off the teat.
Straight off the teat.
That's apparently is how you're supposed to get zombie dust.
Really? I thought it was pretty good.
got zombie
We drank
teats?
it. I don't think we were drinking it off a cow's teat.
You're supposed to go to friggin' what is it, Three Floyds?
Yeah.
Three Floyds,
Yeah,
buy a
and-
case and drink
and-
it that night, because
and
if it's the next
basically
day, it's already fallen.
Buy
Yeah.
a case.
The tap is a pacifier.
Buy
You're
a
supposed
case.
to
You'll
stick
probably
your
be
head
dead,
under it.
so don't even worry about the next day.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you to buy 2 cases.
I was gonna say this was almost like 2 years ago. I had like 2 back-to-back trips to Munster, and like both days was wound up being Zombie Dust release days. So
Happened to be?
Just happened to be. And I'm just like, oh hey, case of Zombie Dust, and like everybody, like I couldn't even tell you who I sold it to, because I sold it at price to whoever wanted it, because I'm one of those people who, I'm not here to win a trade. I'm not here if you wanted Zombie Dust that bad that you're willing to pay at cost, then that's fine. Enjoy it.
Right.
And that's one of the things. Like, I have people who I've traded with that I've won trades, as I use air quotations, as much as I've lost trades with them too. Right. It's because I trade with them enough to where I can win one here to lose one later, and I don't mind.
And you guys know each other. They probably know that you really want this thing, but they don't really care about it and whatever.
And there might not be something that you like now, but there's going to be something later down the road that you're going to be like, oh, all right. So I'm gonna move it over to Rob real quick, because I wanted to hear if you got that trade off that you that I was consulting you with.
You were consulting. So
Was that the one that we saw earlier this week?
Yeah.
So I put up a trade request, basically looking for some Black Note, and so I put up a
a good little amount of beers to try to get it.
It was last year's Yellow Belly, this year's regular Bourbon County, the barley wine.
Damn.
Pretty much 3 120s from this year, 1 from last year. I was throwing in there. I wasn't sure if anybody was looking for last year's Clown Shoes Billionaire, but I remember it was kind of crazy last year, so I said, all right, I throw that one up there too. And then last year's Dark Horse Plead the Fifth.
Shoot.
And so, yeah, the requests started coming in. And so I had one gentleman I traded with yesterday. He took the Yellow Belly, so it was basically a 2-for-1, which kind of turned into like a 4-for-1, because he gave me the thank you beers. Mm-hmm. So I gave him the Yellow Belly. He gave me 2 Black Note, a Hipster, and
Hipster Brunch.
Yeah, Hipster Brunch.
Nice.
And a Death by Coconut, which
that's a really good trade.
That is a really.
Were the thank you
that's-
beers mandatory?
No.
Oh, we're not going to get into that conversation.
Those are not mandatory.
Usually, to be honest, thank you beers are usually given from either the person who is looking for a very specific beer, like they give you a thank you beer or two as a courtesy for trading to get the single beer that you want.
I'd be like, here's a thank you beer.
If like
King Cobra, go fuck yourself.
Thank you. This will last you a long time. It's like drinking 4 other beers.
It'll last you.
like I had
2
I had a
hours.
person come to me, like literally come to my apartment for a trade, so I offered a thank you beer as a, hey, you're the one that made the effort to come to me, so I gave you the thank you beer. But I'm curious about the Bourbon County trade.
Well, wait. So there's that. So that's shout out to Brett Bessingule, if I'm pronouncing your last name right. Quality dude. So there was the second gentleman, which Jason Warrow, which he's the one I actually met up at Zatuna yesterday, that I was getting the Your Mom on French Toast from, which he was just selling to me at cost. So basically, I got that. Also got another four pack of Hipster, and he had a Black Note. So we actually just kind of went straight up with the 2015 120 for the Black Note, and of course everything else. So then there goes the 120. The other gentleman
trades left and right, man.
I know, it was like going crazy.
Damn.
So
Wheeling and dealing.
I know, no shit.
The Bourbon County one, that one is still pending. Hopefully, because I thought we were going to be able to meet today before the show, but he ended up being stuck in Flint. So we're going to try again tomorrow afternoon. But basically, yeah, I would say that he's probably getting the better end of it. But I honestly
did you renegotiate what I told you to renegotiate, or did you just?
I kind of went halfway. So basically, you guys will say he's winning, and I'm okay
I'm
with it.
sure I will. But I'm probably going to have to kick your ass after the show.
So basically,
What it's about, Ken. You just said that.
So he is getting,
no, because he's not going to trade with this guy ever again. Whereas the few people that's true, but the few people that I've traded with, like that I know very, very well in regards to the fact that we've traded enough to where we've gone to this distance. But the offer that this guy gave Rob was well under. Sorry, yeah.
Are you at liberty to say exactly what it was?
And
It's a business deal. It's beer.
And of course,
it was a 4-pack of Black Note.
So basically, it's the way it started out was that I'm pretty much a rookie to trading, and to me, it's just beer at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I don't need the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange to tell me what the fuck a beer is worth. So I basically just said, all right.
So you need the market crash.
I guess this is why I brought you into it, because I want to know what was going on. But I basically started off 1-to-1 on everything for Black Note. So basically, it was going to be the 2014 Bourbon County regular, the 2016 regular, the 2016 barley wine, and
Holy shit.
And
this year's Dogfish Head 120.
Jeez.
And it was
for one bottle.
for four.
Oh, for four.
For four.
It would have been 4 for 4.
It would have been
Okay,
4.
all right, okay,
Now,
all right.
after talking to Ken about it, and he basically that's him.
As he raises his hand.
He basically had told me that, the barley wine should be 2-to-1. He said something else should have been 2-to-1. So in the middle of negotiating with him, I went back to the Facebook page and I edited it because I thought, if it doesn't go through, then I want everybody else to know that the barley wine should be 2-to-1.
Right.
So I changed that on the trade negotiation to say 2-to-1. And Paul, the person I was negotiating with, he went back and he saw that it got changed. So then he said, well, is it going to be 4 or is it going to be 5? Because I know she just changed it. And I said, you know what? We're in the middle of negotiation, and you came in before the change. So we can still do 4. If you want to throw in a 5th, that's awesome. If not, at the end of the day, I have no problem with it. So he decided he's going to throw in the 5th. So it is going to be 5 of those for those 4.
5 Black Note?
5 Black Note.
That's the final deal.
That is the final deal.
As prescribed by Ken.
That is.
That's not prescribed by me.
If that was prescribed by Ken, that probably would have been those 4 for at least 8.
No, I would have said 6.
You would have said 6. Okay.
I would have said 6.
So at least I split the difference.
So you got. So what you're saying is you got 5 bottles of Black Note in the end.
It's hard to describe beer in regards to trading because not only do you have to worry about the cost of beer, and I don't know if you have to deal with this at all or you deal with this at all yourself. It's just like no.
Travis is not in the trading game.
No, I just go to the dude who made it and say, "Can I have a bottle of that?"
Hey Larry, can I have a bottle of Black Note?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like in the deal, I'm paying for not only the beer, but to have to get it, and
you're going to bring one for us, right?
When maybe.
If he got 6, he would have.
No, hold on.
Well, yeah.
There's going to be some discussion there in the first break.
Okay, I don't care what you pay. Then
I kind of felt like the only places you couldn't. It was like you couldn't get this outside of Kazoo.
Nope.
So
you can't.
I mean, to have to drive all the way out there and get it, and then especially when there was like a post about a week ago that they had it sitting in the cooler, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I could leave work right now, and I could probably be home by 8 tonight.
You're talking about driving 5 hours for beer. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. The second I said that, I said, yeah, I'm completely out of my fucking mind. I'm not doing that. So. I mean, I thought.
So you feel like you won out of that. You got a win out of that.
I'm getting fucking Black Note. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Right? That's important. I mean, 5 instead of 6.
That to me, that was the important part, and I'm hoping that none of my relatives are listening right now because, Merry Christmas.
If you're a trader,
that was like the whole point was Christmas gifts. I was working on 3 Christmas gifts. I needed Black Note.
If you're a trader, I would like to see what the people that listen to this show, what kind of crazy deals they've made. If you're a trader,
so I've I've got as we're kind of wrapping up this the first segment, because the second segment we're going to start.
Because I'm out of beer. I need.
We're going to be drinking some Old Nation beers.
That's cool.
Right after
I'm
that.
so stoked right now for this Old Nation. I'm not even kidding.
But with that in mind, with everything that's going on in regards to beer trading, it's hard to really keep track, because not only is it how much do you value it, it's how much does somebody else value it.
Right.
And just like anything in this world, whether it's a collector's item or not, beer is almost traded the exact same way. And while you have your black notes as well as beer you cannot get in the United States, or not in the United States, at least in the state of Michigan or in the area, yes, you have to pay a premium on it. Yeah. But nonetheless, you can't set yourself up to where you're just going to trade whatever you have, whatever you want. But we're going to be talking about that a little bit more right after this break.
We need beer.
On Draft Podcast. We are back with the Better on Draft Podcast, episode 61. My name is Ken. We are still hanging out here with Travis from Old Nation.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Keep wanting to say
you got
Old Navy
a spattering of applause. Old Navy. The Performance Fleece Brewery.
The Performance Fleece. Absolutely, man. You nailed it.
Is that a fleece? Is that a fleece hoodie you're wearing?
It absolutely is. Did they say something in response to that in the Old Nation commercial?
I don't remember. So while we're pouring the beers, I do want to make a quick mention. Big ups to out of the DACB group, Alec and Brent. They raised $7,700, I believe, for Toys for Tots.
$7,775.
There you go, $7,775.
Huge.
They're going to be pretty much buying a bus filled of toys and delivering
awesome,
it.
dude.
And for those of you who are lucky enough to win some of the beers of the raffle, I did donate a lot thanks to Better on Draft, aka me.
It was a lot of King Cobra, so I hope you enjoy it.
It was a lot.
Have fun.
No, it was not a lot of King Cobra. There
was some natty ice.
It was
there.
a No Rules Batch 2 as well as a Batch 9000 from Bell's. Yes. And a lot of people, again, it wasn't as big as some of the other batches, but I think that Batch 9000 really sealed the deal in regards to exciting some people. So I'm going to try. The guy will actually be near the studio next week to pick it up, because he's going to swing by here. So we might bring him on real quick to see if we can get him to try some of the beers.
You really want to bring internet people to show, like, hey, internet guy.
Hey, to be honest, looking at his mutual friends, he doesn't seem like that kind of person.
Yeah, until you get him on. He's like, oh, I was on Facebook today. And
we'll find out.
Fuck yourself.
Dan, tell us how you really feel about these people.
75, pissed off at some kids walking on his lawn.
We never started the show to please people,
Right.
No, we didn't.
Right.
Oh, no, yeah, bring him in.
We started the show with the whole intention of, hey.
Better choice, bring him in.
I mean, remember the first things we said? Founders isn't craft.
Founders is not craft.
We'll have our first CBY on the show. It'll be fun.
Though I did have
I don't know. Technically, our first CBY is right over there.
Oh, okay. CBY number 2 will be on the show.
I'm the man who created the phrase, so I guess I am.
You wanted to go with craft
it.
beer Kanye.
Yeah, I started with craft beer Kanye, and then it's like, well,
craft beer Kanye.
Yeah.
He's not doing so well lately.
So let's. I've got something in my glass. Why don't you talk about it? I think this is the
what you
one.
Got?
That is
the
you got
the little bottle.
Ghost meat.
You got this one actually.
Yes.
Are you sure? No. I've got the other bottle, the one that Dan was pouring.
Pills.
10 penny.
No, you don't have that one. You
Nope.
have this one.
No,
I have the pills. I
mean,
don't know
smell it. What does it smell like? Or pass it around, maybe.
It smells like yellow beer.
Okay, then that's Pilsner.
That's the Pilsner.
Then that's the Evo
right.
Pilsner. So this is the one to start out with, right? Because it's a Pilsner.
Sure.
Right. I know that Pilsner is kind of regaining a little bit of cachet in craft beer, but still is kind of looked down upon by, I think newer craft beer drinkers, the guys that have been introduced to it in the last 10 years or so. Like it always has been with craft beer drinkers. For somebody like me, I love the style of a Pilsner because it's hard as shit to brew. I think it's a brewer's style of beer now. That is to say, it's kind of been abandoned by people who are real beer fans, and really brewers are the ones that you hear talking about. Mitch Steele from, used to brew out at Stone, and all those kind of cats are just, give me a Pilsner.
Is it pretty much that people just shied away from Pilsners because they think Pilsner equals Budweiser?
I think, yeah.
And it's just like, I don't want that style.
Like that blue collar beer, like Bud, like you said, Budweiser, but
Yeah.
I mean that's the trash maker or the trash can from
Thrasher.
Cellarman.
The
So is it the Thrasher? I thought it was
Thrasher. Yeah, the trash can.
the trash can maker
What's a
from
trash
Cellarman.
can?
Trash
I don't know. They sell a bunch of it, so they don't care.
Yeah, right. But again, from a brewer's perspective, making a good Pilsner is there's a wide gulf between a really shitty Pilsner and a really good Pilsner. And it's hard to make one that kind of sings on the tongue. It's got, a little bit of bitterness, but not too much to linger. It's all about, a beer like this is all about balance. And I think that people who are used to drinking like bourbon barrel aged imperial stouts and IPAs, and that's kind of what they drink, which is fine.
It's all we drink.
Right. We'll taste a Pilsner and go, well, I don't know. I mean, there's just not enough going on here.
No,
right.
this is 15%. I can't drink this.
Right.
No.
It's not
The IBUs are under 80. So.
The thing about exactly. But the thing about Pilsner is that I think you have to really think about what it is in order to. Do you need one?
We got
you needed the Pilsner.
Yeah, you want the? Oh, you're.
There you go.
That's the.
This is an open one right here, Rob.
want
If you
that?
want the
All right.
10.
Right.
No. I wanted the.
Here, take a little bit of that one, and then take the
little
rest of that
Well,
one.
here, just
there we
open
go.
up
That's it.
that
All right.
about
There we go.
20.
Continue.
So anyway, but it's a really difficult beer to brew, and it's one that you can. For example, if I ever go into a brewery and I'm concerned about, which I'm usually not, right? If I'm there to drink, and I'm not going to judge
Right.
too much, but. If I don't know it, then I'll always go to their Pilsner or their Kolsch or their cream ale or whatever they have on tap that's kind of the lightest, lowest alcohol, least shit to hide behind beer to see if I'm going to like that brewery. Because if you can do a Pilsner, you can do a Kolsch, you can do a cream ale, chances are you covered your fundamentals,
Right.
essentially.
So basically, if you can have flavor without public drunkenness.
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, like if you can walk the line in a beer where there's nothing to hide behind, right? Then you're good, right? It's the same way that chefs, will interview, like Michelin star chefs will interview other Michelin star chefs
Right.
by having them cook an omelet, right? With no cheese, no nothing, just the egg in an omelet. It seems simple, and who wants to eat just an egg? But the reality is, it's a really difficult thing to do perfectly, and you can really express your own technique perfectly through that vehicle, which is the same thing with Pilsner for brewers. And I think most professional brewers would agree with that.
Okay.
So that's why I really like making this beer. This is from the Detroit Brewing Company, which we also own and make this in the Detroit Dwarf under that label, and also the Double Dwarf, which we have here today.
Nice.
So what else did we pour? Because I tasted something that's a little sour.
Yeah, that is the ghost meat. Right.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
Because I poured you the ghost meat.
Yeah.
Let's do that one here.
You want to do that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got that one right here. Let's.
Do you have that?
Wow.
No, I don't. I'm looking.
Yeah.
I've got like 3 cups in front of me.
Now,
I'm like,
Right.
now explain the story behind
Now you
this
have
one. This
4.
one
Right.
is. I'm digging this one.
Good, man. Thank you.
oh, peppercorn. Here we go.
Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing, though. We use peppercorn in this
Yeah, I just
just
want
for
more.
balance. A lot of this kind of stuff that we do, we're searching for, like the tipping point. We're searching for balance in these, right?
It's a Saison.
It's a Saison more or
Nice.
less, right?
I like that.
Yeah. So this is actually a kettle sour Saison. I brewed with a lot of Belgian cats in the past. Belgian brewing, sour brewing, traditionally is a lot more about blending than it is brewing. So you have to have a number of different batches, essentially, that at the end of a given period you blend together in order to make something that tastes the same as it did last year, right?
Right.
We don't have either the time in the market or the capacity of storage to do that. So instead of faking it, we decided to just go ahead and do a kettle sour, which we can actually control. So that means instead of inoculating like Ron does at Jolly Pumpkin, who I have a great deal of respect for, where he's inoculating the wood that he's aging the beer in and all that kind of stuff, and allowing it to take its time and do its thing, which is the way it's done. This allows you to inoculate the wort when it's in your kettle before it becomes beer with lactobacillus, which is a souring bacteria. Keeping it at a given temperature allows you to really control how much sourness you get in the beer, and you're putting out a beer that has probably less depth than something like Ron is doing with that aging, but really hits all the notes of what people, I think, are looking for in a sour beer.
Yeah.
Out of all the beers that you brew, you've been brewing since you were 21.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite ones that you like to brew, style-wise?
Pilsner.
Pilsner's your
Yeah, it
favorite?
really is.
Pilsner's the favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of different kinds that I enjoy brewing, but the one that I haven't ever gotten sick of is Pilsner, because every time it's a challenge. because you really are testing your technique if you're making a Pilsner properly.
Right.
Right?
That's I mean, I'm no fucking brewer. Don't
Really?
yeah, I know. Really, I'm
not a fucking brewer.
Right.
I'm an engineer. Damn it.
I'm a celibate brewer.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, well, it's 6 years now. By
Yeah,
the way.
no.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, 6 years since I got that the position. Haven't been there. But anyway, back on track. I would think that some of these bourbon barrel ones, I mean, would be the harder ones to brew. No, you don't. No,
Just throw it in a
Absolutely
barrel.
not. No, I mean I've done a lot of that kind of brewing. It's not to say they don't present their own unique challenges.
Yeah.
Right. But they absolutely
I'm
do.
sure that's the case with every style.
Right. Yeah, it is.
Island.
Right.
Well, we
That's another
we can't get him on the show. So. And do we really want to?
You can't get Augie Bush the fourth in here again.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I mean, it's not like those beers are super easy to brew, or it's not
Right.
like those kind of beers aren't impressive when they come out really well. But as a brewer, as a guy who's taking grain and making it into something else, those kind of beers, you're making a really big stout,
Right.
Where there's, for me, it's kind of about signal to noise ratio. You know what I mean? So if in a beer like a double dry hopped IPA or a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, there's a lot going on, right? And it's like music in that the louder something is, the more background noise doesn't matter, right? But the quieter something is, the softer something is, the more it matters everything that's going on,
Right.
Every little tiny thing.
Yeah.
And so after you've been doing it for a long time, that's what's interesting, right? Is controlling all of those variables and then making something that is like perfect. That's exactly what you want. And that, again, is not to say that people aren't doing that when they're making imperial stouts, but it is kind of to say that I wouldn't really know if they weren't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I mean, if let's just say you had an apprentice that just wanted to started brewing themselves. Yeah. I mean, the style that you would want them to learn first, would it be Pilsner?
No.
Or
was you starting with an IPA?
You started with an IPA.
Yeah, that's the easiest one to make, for sure.
It's interesting because I'm actually, for whatever reason, I'm starting to get this idea of actually doing some home brewing myself.
You should make an IPA.
And
it's easy.
What was your first beer that you've ever made as a home brewer?
I actually didn't homebrew that much.
All right,
No.
So let's kind of mesh the two together.
Right.
As a home brewer and then as a professional brewer,
Right.
What was the first one you ever made?
I made 2 beers as a home brewer, just not even intending to be a brewer, right? I was just in college and I was underage and I wanted some beer.
and you get somebody to buy it for me. I'll make it myself.
Fuck it. You know what I mean? And so I think I made like a Belgian quad.
Oh, geez.
That's
Right?
ambitious.
I mean, again, not that hard to make. You know what I mean? Like, you just fucking put a bunch of sugar in there and they let the yeast do its thing, and then you got a boozy beer to share with your friends at 20. So I made one of those, and then I want to say I made like a brown ale or a stout or something.
Uh-oh, Ken.
Right?
Brown ale.
I was waiting for his head to just pop up.
Yeah.
So honestly, how do they taste?
Those beers?
Yeah.
I didn't fucking know. They taste great to me, man. I mean, I didn't have a lot of perspective.
Tastes like free.
Right, exactly.
13 of them later, they taste the best.
I think they were probably good. I mean, I'd lived in Munich when I was a teenager as an exchange student, so I drank a bunch of German beer.
Okay.
But they weren't that, so I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Well, I guess, I mean, in terms of that brewing, though, what would 37-year-old you tell 20-year-old you?
Or even younger, even before that.
Yeah, even before that.
Yeah.
In terms, like, just, knowing the process, what to do.
Yeah, find some money and stay in America. Don't become a brewer. I'm kidding, man.
So in other words, they weren't that good.
No.
I mean, we've had a lot of people on the show from the small breweries all the way to the big ones, and the ones that homebrew, they've always had that bad experience when they first homebrewed. Like, it was almost undrinkable, but I drank it anyway.
Well, I will tell you this, man. I don't know. How many can you homebrew? Don't you?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Dan.
God bless.
Dan.
You do, right?
I do. Yeah.
All right. So you know Charlie Papazian's book, New Joy Homebrewing. Is that how you started?
No, not at
It
all.
is how
Internet.
So, guys,
I just decided I'm going to try this.
right.
All right.
Well, old guys like me started with that book. Right.
Old guys, we're the same age. So.
Well,
Is this
are we exactly?
Yeah.
Is this before the internet?
As I unlock my
I was going to say, he doesn't look like he was born in the
Guys,
50s.
I think. But the thing is, what he used to drive home was like the big, everybody remembers, everybody in the 90s and like really in the 80s and 90s kind of started with that book, right? The New Joy of Homebrewing, Charlie Papazing, was everybody had it. Mm-hmm. And everybody remembers who had that book that he used to always say, relax, have a homebrew. Like, don't stress about what you're doing, man. Just follow the recipe and keep your shit clean, which is true, when you're brewing at home. If you keep your stuff sanitary, you might jack the recipe a little bit, but you'll probably end up with something drinkable. And truth be told, there's a Christmas beer recipe in that book, and I forget what he called it, but whatever it is, it's a Christmas beer recipe that is lights out. It's amazing. And I've never had, even really sort of beginner homebrewers that have made it, I've never had a version of that beer that really followed that book that wasn't really good. Well, for whatever reason. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but there you go, man.
I don't know, but if I get a kit, then I'm looking for this book. That's for sure.
Yeah, dude, you should. For real.
It's really not hard, though.
It isn't.
It's all as
no.
you keep shit clean, like you said. It's
Right.
really not hard.
It's not, man.
It's really
It's like making bread with more water.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
And just be
takes
patient. Don't be that guy like trying to rush it because it doesn't work.
right.
Yeah,
that's the
okay,
other thing.
yeah. You have done this enough times. Yeah, right,
And
exactly.
I make English dark milds just because I can't find them
God
anywhere.
bless you,
Yeah,
dude.
that's my thing.
God bless you for that.
I got a loaded question. Hold on, let me ask this loaded question.
Go
So you
for it.
spent time in Central Europe. I spent a lot of time in the Netherlands. Who makes better beer now, America or that area?
That's
my
a
answer.
shitty question.
No, it's not. I'm 100% behind my answer.
It isn't
on
a
that.
shitty
How
question.
dare you ask?
You're
that
being
question?
shitty by asking that question.
It's not because I know what you're going to answer. I have a pretty good
It's not a
feeling.
shitty question. You just don't want to answer.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got me. You're right. Man. Absolutely. I think that I got buddies that live in Germany. They're Germans, right? That I met in school. I go over there every now and again and have their beer, right?
Right.
Some of them are messing around with, IPAs and sours and the kind of imperial stouts and the kind of stuff that we're doing here. And they do a good job, right? Because German brewers really are trained to make a product that is good and never bad, right?
Right.
But they're not necessarily always focused on making a product that is fucking great, right? Yep. So when you talk about making, in the way that we think about great, So when you ask that question, it actually is kind of difficult to answer because if you ask who makes better Pilsners and Hefeweizens, then obviously that's easy. They do.
But everything else?
Right. No, then America
Yeah.
does, honestly. But also the problem that they have with this in the conversations that I have with my buddies over there, and we're actually doing a collaboration with Eichbaum in Franconia, sort of northern Bavaria, next summer. And when you talk to these guys, they're kind of like I was until the last few years, which is like, well, so you're making this imperial stout and you're putting, coconut and mango in it or whatever you're doing. What is it that you're trying to do, really? Right? Like, they need to know what the central truth is in the beer before they go about making it.
Right.
Whereas Americans are like, fuck yeah, coconut and mangoes, baby. That's going to be great. Let's do it. And a lot of times it is, right? And a lot of times it's fantastic. And people used to ask me that question, or like a version of that question all the time, which was like, oh my God, you were in Central Europe for so long, man. Isn't the beer over there fantastic? And the answer I would always give is the same one I'd give now, which is all the beer is very good, right? Mm-hmm. You walk into even a small pub there, and there's going to be 3 beers, maybe 4 on draft, maybe. Every one of them is going to be fantastic. It's going to be good, But there is very rarely a beer that you'll drink there that is just absolutely mind-numbing. You know what I mean? Whereas here, you'll go to a brewery, and out of 13 beers, maybe 3 or 10 or God knows how many aren't really all that great, but 2 or 3 will be absolutely exceptional. I'd say that's kind of the central. I know that's not the question you asked, man, but that's how
It's
I
a
would
loaded
respond
question.
to it.
It's a good response.
I'm dancing around it.
It's better than a one-word answer like, oh, we are there.
We are
That's
there.
good,
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's how I'd answer it anyway.
Well,
Yeah, my east of England. I've only found one beer I really liked over there. Everything else, like, do you have anything non-yellow?
Yeah.
All right. How many doubles do you have? Or you go to the Netherlands, it's even worse. So I can get what do they have? Grolsch on tap everywhere.
Got Grolsch.
Or Heineken.
Obviously Heineken.
Oh, we got Heineken or Grolsch. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Oh, get the fuck. Oh, you have Newcastle.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's great.
Didn't you guys invent gin? I'll just have that. Man.
East England, I'm talking East England. It's like it gets worse the further you go. It's yellow beer central.
Whenever I was going to school in Berlin, it was a $5 train ticket to Amsterdam, and then $5 to stay on a boat overnight. And they give you breakfast like cheese and bread. But they give you breakfast.
Canals, that's a good time.
I spent a lot of time over there, man. It was pretty awesome.
There's nothing wrong with it. These guys need to leave the country once in a while, go have some fun.
I believe Ken
I was out of the country earlier today.
Oh, Canada. My bad. No, but we had the same argument that's not
South Detroit.
Yeah. Like I said, if you have to deal with Homeland Security, it's leaving the country. Believe me.
They say a boot. That's a different country.
So I want to talk about the most Canadian experience I had today because it was a very Canadian experience.
It is super
It's a good thing I got this
Going.
ghost meat over here, man.
So we
Prepare me for this.
we parked. So over at Caesars, the third floor is the parking lot that goes right into the casino. So we parked on the fourth, and we hit the elevator to go down. So we hit the elevator down, and it just like the door closed and then reopened because we hit the down. So we said we're sorry. Because someone who is someone who's already in the elevator. No, it gets even more Canadian. It gets even more Canadian.
It gets more Canadian.
And so she goes, 4? And we're like, no, floor 3. Right. And she goes, for what? And we're like, what do you mean? And she's like, what are you sorry for? And we're like, oh, because we opened up the doors because we were trying to get to the elevator. She's like, that's not something to be sorry for. And I'm like, that is the most Canadian thing I've ever heard.
I'm actually sorry that you're sorry. That's how Canadian I am.
Have a donut on the hoose.
Yeah, have a donut on the hoose. It's about $2.50 otherwise.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't even know Tim Horton was a real person until
How's a hockey player, man?
Yeah.
Wait a
Chris
minute.
Jericho's
Time
dad.
out. How in the hell did you not?
I had no idea. And he's a Toronto
How
Maple
many
Leaf.
times have we gone to Canada up for
Enough.
whatever reason?
Enough.
Yeah. How do you not know that?
I didn't know.
Blasphemy.
Enough.
I don't know how that is anti-God that I don't know.
It's anti-Canada.
Anti-Canadian.
Yeah,
religion.
Travis said it. It's
You're not going to be allowed
anti-Canada.
back in next time you want to go, man. You're like,
Nobody's gonna know. They won't hear us.
Your
The,
car chef-
the exchange rate on this download is like 4 years. So
So are you saying that
3 to
Canadians
1.
are behind 4 years on everything?
yes.
Oh, you are tearing the Canadians
It's like
up.
like Eastern Europe.
You might actually get searched on the way there.
Yeah, I know. You were just put on the Canadian blacklist there, Ken.
I love how you said that because it's like nobody gets searched on the way to Canada.
No one
you
does.
do. No, you do. Believe it. It happened.
How early
wait,
you
no,
start drinking this morning? Okay.
Dan's right. That happened one time to
I was
me.
going to say I've been searched once on the way to Canada.
Going in from...
I've been searched once on the way back from Canada in one day, and that was today too.
I got my whole car searched once on the way to Toronto with a German passenger, man. It was terrible.
Were you going through Detroit or were you going through Sarnia?
Sarnia, so
Yes,
Port Huron.
yes, so that happened to me. Port Huron to Sarnia, had the whole car search. Had to
Yep.
get out of the car and everything.
So we have another beer that needs to be somewhere, and
Which you
I
want?
want it. The Double Dwarf.
You want that double
shit.
dwarf. Here it comes.
It's
baby.
an alt.
Here
So-
it comes. No, it's not. I mean, it is kind of.
Kind of.
This is something.
Hold on. You have another beer that we need to open.
Which one?
Kind of like the King Cobra, that malt liquor.
Oh, yeah. Either one is good right now because they're both
Let's
just
open
ridiculous.
them both. Why not?
Let's
So-
open them both.
Let's open them both.
So
Let's
as-
go malt
nuts,
liquor
man.
time.
So
Bacchanal.
as-
These guys don't want no malt
So as
liquor.
those are...
No, I'll drink that.
So if I could
Oh.
say, as those are being
Am I
passed
hearing the black
around,
guy
we
asking
had
for
the...
malt liquor right now? Hold on.
Gee.
Hold on.
Wait, no, no.
Careful,
Hold on. Hold on.
everybody.
Hold on.
I don't see color.
Time out. So...
Then what happens when you go to a stop sign?
Yes.
Or a stoplight?
I'm so glad somebody else saw
So
that.
as the Detroit Dwarf and I'm guessing the malt liquor is being passed around.
Yeah, this is
Pour
the
that malt liquor
double.
that
This is the
everyone
double
needs to-
So this
dwarf.
is the double dwarf. This is the double dwarf.
Yes, sir.
We had a couple others passed around prior to that.
Yes, sir.
We had the 10 penny bit
The 10-penny bit.
and then the ghost meat.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. The 10-penny
Yeah, I
bit
forgot to check all these in.
is.
We'll get
I'll
'em.
leave
We'll
I've already checked them
I
out.
failed.
So
The 10-penny bit is actually is one of my favorite beers that we make, but also is a very mild beer. But I like it for the same reason I like the Pilsner. We don't have to talk about it now. I love that beer, actually, man. And it gets shit on because it's a Scottish export ale, which is what you'd get if you asked for a beer in a pub in Scotland.
Okay.
But because it's a Scottish ale, everybody's like, well, it's not, Dirty Bastard, so I don't like it. It's like, well, Dirty Bastard is a wee heavy. It's a completely different style of beer, but that is my mistake for not explaining it well enough on the label.
Take that, CB Wise.
Right. Is it getting shit on? I mean, I guess that's going to be a question.
Crazy.
Do you look at the stuff that happens on
All
Untappd?
All the time. I just self-flagellate, man, Look at it. I'm serious, dude.
Well, I mean, Mike R says that this Double Dwarf is an excellent alt beer.
It is.
5 stars.
Yeah, well, I was actually going to bring that up. That's the kind of review that I appreciate on one hand, and on the other hand, I'm like,
well, what about it?
it's not. Right. I mean, this is an alt beer is like 6% ABV.
Okay.
This is like 11. You know what I mean? So it's a completely different beast.
So it's technically double.
It's a Doppelstücke.
It's a double alt.
Yeah, it's a double alt. So it is. There's actually a name for it. It's Doppelstücke. But
in American, that is
double secret.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and it also fits the requirements for the show.
Which
nothing
is
less
over
10%. Over 10%.
But I mean, I read that kind of stuff, and it. I mean, on one hand, obviously, it's nice to have a good review. But on the other hand, it kind of bums me out. It really going on Untappd generally does. I mean, I remember like when Rate Beer came out, right? So this has been like 2004 or 5, I guess. You'd go on there, but it was all these old school guys that really knew their shit when it came to styles and stuff like that. They wouldn't go on there because they just tear each other up if they said something like that, right?
Right. I don't think you really can go on there and really tear themselves up because, I mean, hell, you only get like a good 115 characters.
Right. Which is a great number of characters to say fuck this brewery, but not a great number of characters to say, dude, that's not an alt beer. You know what I mean? Like that's something completely different.
I'm reading the label here on the Detroit Dwarf bottle. It says, everything you loved about alt beer tricked out for America.
Yep.
Tricked out for America.
Did Exhibit get a hold of that?
Yeah. What is that? I don't know that, man. I feel lame for
I
not
heard
knowing.
you like alt beer.
So I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Oh no! Why don't you like it?
All right.
Because it's on alt.
I don't like it tastes a little too bitter.
Okay.
And I don't like it. That's really the.
Here, wash it down with some King Cobra.
I think that's
all
fair.
right, let's go. Let's go.
I mean, I think that's fair.
So can you?
I'm going to wash it down with some King Cobra real quick.
Christ.
Right?
Is that so? Let's
Don't get mad.
So let's talk about when you.
right.
Some of the other people
That's
we've
not
had
as
on
bad
the
as I
show-
remember.
No.
So hold on, I got a question here.
You got a question. We're almost up at a break.
Okay, well maybe we'll hear about it
Hurry
after
up,
the break.
hurry up.
When you're dealing with these people that come in and asking like, I don't like it, do you take that very positively?
Well, I'm not telling them how to brew
No.
his beer.
No. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. When someone comes to you and says they don't like it and it's because of that reason that Ken mentioned or other reasons,
Right.
How do you take that? Do you just take that as do you take that as constructive criticism at that point, or
I mean, if it's constructive, yeah. I mean,
it's like, oh, this sucks.
Right.
Well, obviously, you're not going to take that very well.
Right.
No.
Right. I mean, if somebody says I don't like it,
Yeah.
then my first question is, why?
Right.
Sure. Because I would like to know. And the more kind of thoughtful the answer is, the more seriously I take it.
Fair enough.
So he didn't take my answer very seriously.
No, in other words, Ken, to hell with you.
Right. I mean, if it's like, well, I don't like it because I would say half
I didn't
the
say
time,
it was bad. I just said I
right.
don't like it.
No, that's fine. And I'm not. I take what you said. That's fine. But half the time it is somebody saying I don't like what I think you are. Right.
Right.
Or I don't like what I think this brewery is. More than I don't like this particular beer, right?
Fair enough.
So if we are, if we're drinking beer in the context of a malt liquor, and somebody doesn't like a malt liquor, then they're not going to like this beer,
Sure.
right? If we're drinking beer in the context of IPA, and somebody doesn't like my IPA, and they like IPAs, then I really want to know why they don't like my IPA. You know,
Right.
What I mean? So that would be the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to be right back with the Better on Draft podcast. And we are back with the Better on Draft podcast, episode 61.
61?
Wow, we've been doing this a while.
Yeah, we have been doing this a while.
We're seasoned vets now.
You would think we'd got this down pat, but we still don't.
Fuck no.
I think that's the good part about it. Everything's just kind of raw and
Like Eddie Murphy raw?
No posers in here.
A lot of people downloaded episode 1. I don't know what happened. But
I'm just like, hey, what's going on? Episode 1? What's going on?
Yeah, I know, right?
So, hey,
that's
guys.
a scary episode.
Oh, yeah. No, not as bad as 2. I think we got, like, hammer wasted on 2.
No, we got hammer wasted.
1 and
1.
2.
1 was scary bad. Like, we shouldn't have been.
Was 1 as bad as Roke?
Oh, jeez.
Are we including the post trip?
Oh, no, we're not including the post trip.
I don't know. The Roke's up there with 1, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, pass that.
So while you guys are passing, what are we passing?
I'm going to be mixing malt liquors
The
in a
German
second.
hobo malt liquor.
The malt liquor. So before we get into 5 questions tonight, we do want to mention, as we have a brand new sponsor.
We do?
Brand new sponsor.
Brand new.
Yes.
brand new.
Yes. Well, they're not brand new.
Brand new.
Well,
So,
they're not brand new per se, but brand new to us.
Brown Iron Brew House, which has amazing pub trivia. Quizzo.
Oh, you guys gotta stop shilling for these companies that don't pay us. This isn't. You can talk about that all day, every day.
Let's just scratch that bingo square off right now and get it over with.
Come on. Keep it coming.
So they're up in Washington Township. They got 66 taps, including 2 casks, 3 of their own. And right now they're
casks.
Cask, yes, they have 2 cask ales.
Are we going there after the show?
Dude, that 26
mile
and Van Dyke.
Oh, does Uber go out there?
I would think so.
You can send a man to the moon if you got the
they
money.
go to the airport, so I don't see why they can't go to Washington Town.
So they got a maple pecan porter, a session IPA, as well as a New England style double IPA. So you know me, I'm right over there. Boom,
That's right up your
Love
alley.
those IPAs.
Love them.
So along with that, as we're talking about them and we're kind of introducing them, right now they're doing the Rochester Mills 12 Days of Milkshake Stout that Nick didn't bring for us.
Day 1.
I'll bring some later.
They are a official location for the 12 Days of Milkshake Stout. And then every Wednesday, they have a tap showcase. And this week, they're going to be showcasing founders, including Lizard of Cause. Which we did not like that last week.
It's on draft.
Really interesting. It is.
Do we
better.
have that last?
It
was
better.
very.
It should be better.
I felt like I was drinking NyQuil at some points.
Cool.
Out of the bottle or
Well, not right out of the bottle. We poured it into these great glasses we have here.
So what I'm doing is I have another bottle at home. I had it before I bought that other bottle that we had for the show last week. I'm going to let that one sit for a year and see what happens, just to see what happens.
I don't know what it'll be like in a year, but we'll find out for sure.
We'll find out. That one's sitting in the basement.
So with that in mind, if you guys haven't paid attention, Matt Bush is not here.
Nope.
How would you have not noticed?
Nah, that's a great question.
This long.
We're not making fun of his sweatpants.
And he's not making fun of your height.
Yeah, that too. What the hell is that supposed to mean, Rob?
So we have
just saying.
5 questions with Nicholas Paglia.
5 questions.
Did he want a different song played?
Yeah, do I get a different song?
No, he wanted me to do the little like scratch, like the record scratch, and I said no.
Jeez.
So you know what you get, Nick?
What?
You get a little applause.
Wow, you queued that up 2 hours. Wow. Second.
No, it was the first thing. A for applause is the first thing, or the second one.
Is that the Podcast Detroit soundboard?
Yeah, here's the first one on the soundboard.
What's the next one?
If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of?
Is that Bill and Ted?
Yes.
Yes, it's Bill and Ted.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
So 69 dudes is number 1, applause is number 2. So
crazy.
Go on, Nicholas. This is your segment.
So this is 5 questions. I'm doing this for Mr. Matt Bush, who is watching Western Michigan hopefully win tonight.
Better win. Go Broncos.
They better win.
Row the boat.
They should win. So don't scold me because of these questions. Looking at them over the course of the day.
You practiced?
I did. Not really.
I didn't think so.
No. Why the hell would I practice for this show? Jeez.
Wow.
Damn.
Man.
Wow.
Damn.
I can do public speaking.
Anyways.
Shit. Anyways.
Kind of killing our second professions.
Yeah,
here.
I know. Here we're starting to get into the holiday thing here. The few days of December. So these questions are going to be geared towards the holidays.
Yay.
Yeah, I know. So here we go. Question 1, multiple choice. In which European nation do children typically leave beer out for Santa?
Austria.
Well, hold on. Let me give you the.
No, go ahead.
I was hoping this is
we
the
have
blackface question.
we have A, Austria, B, Belgium, C, I don't know why Matt put Czechoslovakia here.
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. And D, Deutschland or Germany.
Well, somebody already said Austria.
I just threw that shit out there. I'm actually kind of surprised it's actually his choice.
I'm going to go with the fact that you mentioned Austria before Austria was
I'm surprised
mentioned.
this question and not the blackface Santa question. So yeah, I'm going to go with Austria.
You going with Austria?
Austria.
Austria? We're going to go with Travis here.
I'm actually going to
Travis?
say the Czech Republic.
You think it's
I'm pretty sure it's
you don't
not
think it's
Germany?
Czechoslovakia?
Well,
The fact
mean,
that he put in
historically, maybe.
Czechoslovakia,
Look,
I mean, he's about 20 years behind.
cut this man some slack.
So you guys are all wrong.
Belgium.
It is Belgium.
It is Belgium.
Belgium.
It's
bunch of
such a
fucking
pass-through
hillbillies.
country.
Yeah, I know.
They can't even get one language down. It's realistic.
Even one of their two is not really what it
Belgium.
is.
They can't
Man.
speak Dutch. They speak Flemish.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
Flemish and
Savages.
Dutch. Yeah.
All right, question number 2.
Hillbillies.
This might be a little specific, so I might give you some hints here. In 2015, Paste Magazine made a list of its 15 winter warmers of 2015. 2 Michigan brews made that list. Bell's Winter White Mate was one. Name the other one. Now, I'll even give you a hint. The name of the other brewery, there's a bottle of that brewery on this table. We'll go that much. Name the brewery and the beer.
Well, it's obviously Old Nation.
Does it rhyme with Flu Flowland?
I'll give you that. Yes. So I think we all know what brewery we're talking about. Well, gee, there's only how many breweries are on the table?
Obviously,
I mean,
shorts.
so-
obviously, guys.
Clearly shorts.
So a winter beer from New Holland, would that be accumulation?
Nope.
No?
Dragonsville?
No.
What's a Cabin Fever? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cabin Fever.
There you go.
I just drank a six-pack of that yesterday.
Is that the final answer?
Final answer.
You're right. It's Cabin
Cabin Fever.
Fever. Good job.
Pilgrim's Dole is an underrated.
Okay. Now, you got
Oh yeah, number 3. Here
number
we go.
3 is name that beer. You guys got those cups I gave you
So
before, during the break.
as it's kind of like my job to explain, especially
Explain the
to the
rules.
guests. So we have two questions that we can ask, and these have to be yes or no questions. So it could be, like is the beer brewed in the United States? Yes or no? That's a yes or no type question.
Okay.
So the beer has to be a standard beer you could find in a single shelf, and we're talking like the singles cooler shelf. So it's not going to be like New Holland Raspberry Porter 2010.
This is definitely not that.
It's basically cheaper
Definitely ain't no Bourbon County.
It's cheaper than $3.
So I have a guess, but Dan
Is that what you
said
told
no.
me?
Yeah.
So there's an easy question that we can pop the 40 question because that'll eliminate what you said, or it could put it close to that. We've had this before. I'm telling you, I just can't pinpoint the name of it.
Well, hold on. Let's ask Travis. Do you have any inclination as to what it is?
Zero.
Not at all. All right.
Yeah,
But
no,
this,
zero.
Thanks for the help.
It's a little too mild for Natty Natty, is what you're thinking. It's a little too mild for that, which makes me think that 40 question's not a bad one. Nick, are you prepared to answer a question?
I don't know.
Unlike Matt Bush, who gets it wrong and just ruins the game.
Let's
Let's
find out. Go ahead and try.
Throw it out there.
I think we should ask the 5-letter question. Does it have 5 letters in it?
In the name.
Hold on.
In the name.
So that would
that's not the
eliminate-
question.
So that would eliminate any LIGHT. Is that what you're talking
Yeah, it
about?
would eliminate any LIGHT. It would eliminate Daddy, which my guess is. It would eliminate Pabst.
It's
It would
not
eliminate.
9%, so it's not. All right, yeah, let's do the 5 letters.
Does any name in the beer have 5 letters?
No, it doesn't.
All right, there we go.
So there goes
There's-
Natty Daddy.
Anything that's
Cobra.
LIGHT, Cobra.
Exactly 5 or 5 or more? What
Five,
is it?
exactly.
No,
exactly
Got
five.
it.
You got one question left.
So this brings us to, it could be a LITE. It can't BUSCH. It can't be Bush.
Yeah.
Right.
It can't be anything for Bush. BUSCH.
so
Can't be Bush.
Okay.
Can't be anything Bud Light. It's not Bud Light Lime, that's for sure.
Okay.
LAB is Labatt 2.
Labatt's one word.
LABAT.
Labatt is 6.
That's 6, yeah. Try. Do you have a question?
Maybe I'll ask a question. I don't know.
Well, we
tell
only
us
have
what
2
it is.
questions.
Well,
two all day.
Yeah.
Oh, all day, yeah.
Talk amongst you four, and
Tell
then
us
come to
what are you
to an
thinking?
agreement as to
What was
the
your question you were going to ask?
I mean, I was gonna ask. Of course, this is not the question.
No,
apparently,
nope, I
I
understand.
was gonna ask. Is this something you'd see advertised during the Super Bowl?
No. That's not a.
I don't drink this kind of beer, man.
I know.
You need to start. That's how
I'm starting right now.
I feel like I need.
Do you
I'm
like?
on a new path.
Do you like it?
I mean, what does someone like? You know what I mean?
I want to ask Rob a question. Rob, when you first had a taste of it, you had that bitter beer thing going there. Look on your face.
I feel like I need some kale pectate before.
I mean, it smells like.
Ah, yes.
I mean,
Well, it can't be anything Coors. COORS.
You know, as it's warm, it's really opened up.
MILLER. So it can be Miller.
Miller. Okay.
We know it's in a can because it always comes in a can. But should we ask the 40 question? I'm trying to think what.
I think
I
I
know
might.
it
I
has.
have an idea.
Give me your idea.
I think it's a quality of life that is high.
I don't think so.
quality of life
I don't
is
think
high.
so.
You don't think so?
Huh.
Maybe.
It doesn't taste like High Life.
Okay.
I know that weird High Life taste.
that's the thing. Because I guess I wasn't sure because I remember I brought the High Life 40, but I didn't really smell it. But I mean, it's like it's smelling like beer, smelling like soap, like the
Soap?
normal.
Yes.
Did you
that
say that last week?
No, you said that for
no.
Natty Daddy.
Natty
And I
Daddy.
nailed it.
Yeah,
That's
last-
a 9%.
Last week was like one of the first ones in about 3-4 weeks in a row that it did not smell like soap.
It tastes as again.
I mean, this
High
one-
Life has that bite to it.
I mean,
That's-
it's
you got me thinking.
It
now.
smells like I'm at the clearance rack of Bed and Bath Works or some
Fucking
shit.
tastes good. Though. I'm out of
Yes.
of delicious beer.
I mean, what is this?
I got a second cup, guys.
Mickey's?
Mickey's was on my mind actually,
Yeah.
but Mickey's doesn't come in a can, and I'm pretty sure you bought this in a can.
Yeah, that bag was a can.
Because it's got
Which
that
eliminates
same
that.
really like DMS-y.
That
kinda-
was on my mind. For
Yeah.
that.
So I'll make a comment. Unlike Mr. Matt Bush, who lives in St. Clair Shores, I live in Harper Woods, which is next to the city of Detroit. And
So is St. Clair Shores.
I'm closer.
More close.
I'm closer.
It's like within the city almost.
And the place I stopped
much
at
more
to
closer.
go to get there definitely does not have any of the stuff that we are drinking today.
Oh yeah, I know. This is
So-
this is my level
So
of everyday drinking.
when you think about the comment you made about Mickey's not being in a can, you might want to reconsider that.
are we?
This is an American malt liquor. Too easy. This is an American malt liquor.
Yeah,
so
that's the only hint I'm going to give you guys.
it's an
solid
American malt liquor.
So that leaves a Steel Reserve, Mickey's.
can't be
King
Steel.
Co-
STEEL.
and it
That's
can't
5
be King
letters.
Cobra. It could be Magnum.
MAGNUM.
I
that's
haven't had
6.
Magnum in a while. I don't even know if they still make it.
We still have one more question.
You do. And while you guys are pondering that, I'm going to open up another beer here.
There's nothing the listeners would like
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, I
than
know.
just sit here
Open
silently
something.
pondering.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to think.
I want to ask Travis, is it okay if I open another one of yours?
Open, please. Yeah.
Open another malt
what-
liquor.
Open the IPA.
The IPA?
Open the IPA.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so
open
this
the
is the
IPA.
M43. This is
Okay.
the big deal.
So let's figure
Open
this out.
something to.
What other question can we ask?
Right.
Clear
How can we
bottle
narrow
40?
down malt liquor? That's a great.
No, because that leaves you Mickey, Milwaukee's best. Well, if we eliminate clear bottle 40s, that leaves you Mickey's, Milwaukee's best ice, Milwaukee's best light.
King you got right in front of you.
King
No,
Cobra's
'cause
clear.
it's
So that-
Cobra.
And there's
Oh,
a
not
5
clear.
word.
I thought you
yeah.
said it
No,
is.
if
Oh,
we
plus it's
eliminate
5
So
letters.
while
Sorry,
you guys are pondering that, I'm going to drink this M43 IPA.
Yes.
Yeah, we
God,
got live
holy
vicariously through
Milwaukee's.
you.
Be jealous.
I am.
It couldn't be light because it's got 5 letters. So it had to be ice.
Wait, who's got a question? Okay, Ken.
I'm gonna take it because
Go nuts.
I think you're on the right page.
Ooh,
with
smells hoppy
Milwaukee's.
too. This M43.
That's what I'm thinking.
Haven't had
It
a
is.
sip yet. Okay, go ahead.
Is this brewed? Oh, hold on. Who brews?
Could be Schlitz Bull Ice. It could.
It's not Schlitz menthol though. I remember that.
You know, is that a thing?
Schlitz
hell
menthol,
yes, it
that's a
was.
thing?
Do you
Dude,
remember
it was
Schlitz
in the 90s,
Do you
absolutely.
remember Schlitz Special Reserve?
Okay, so
That was another
Nick,
good
you
brewer's
have
reserve.
to pay attention to what I'm gonna say because you have to understand. You're gonna follow exactly what I'm gonna say.
Try to. Okay.
Is this brewed by the Miller Brewing Company?
That is a solid.
Yes, it is.
Boom.
I think it's the best.
Best or best ice? I'm probably just the best.
I think
it's the best, I'm gonna go.
I think it's best. It's not light enough to be ice.
Well, I guess. All right. Let's go with it.
What's your
I'm
final
good with
answer?
that.
You guys got a final answer?
Just do it.
Travis.
I feel like you know more than I do.
I
about
don't.
this, man. I mean, I feel like you're really confident, and I don't want to fuck it up.
You
Tastes
don't
like
understand.
something I would-
All right.
Tastes like something I would
I would
drink
say
while raiding.
we're 0 for 3 the last 3 in a row.
Yeah,
so,
we've been pretty bad.
By all means.
All right. What do you guys got? What are you thinking?
Milwaukee's
I'm
best.
thinking Milwaukee's best.
Is
I'll say it's the
that
beastie.
your final
Yes.
answer?
Final
I will
answer.
go with them in
Milwaukee's
Milwaukee's
best.
best.
Let it be.
I got nothing
Goes
to
into
say.
the backpack.
Goes in the
bag.
backpack.
Because I didn't want to have
No,
That's-
it's not.
that's
It's
not Milwaukee's
Old English.
best.
It's Old English.
Old English
As
800.
soon as I saw the can, I knew what it was. I was like, it's
Now,
only
just
the
to give you a
gold
little bit of
fucking can.
trivia about myself, this was one of the first 40-ounce beers I've
Let me
ever
ask
had.
you a legit question.
Go
Why
ahead.
are we not drinking Brass Monkeys right now? You had a fucking OE.
Yeah, who
can,
brought the
and we're not
orange
And you
juice,
wasted
baby?
in 5 cups.
At 140, hey.
4
4
cups.
cups. Oh, that's right. You didn't
didn't even
partake.
cross
The fact of
my
the matter
mind.
is that I thought we had it with the Miller question.
You were
not even
I thought
thinking
you were.
of
I really
OE.
thought
I mean,
you were
that-
gonna get it.
that
When you
was-
said
that was a
Miller,
good question.
When you said that was like one of the best questions since we've been doing 5 questions. I thought that question right there, when we done that question,
All right, go to
was
question
one of the
4.
best.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What was the
All
question
for
we
nothing.
asked about the? Oh, we didn't do the
Old
color of the
English.
40s. That would have been a clear 40, but it still didn't cross.
Right, it didn't cross your mind.
We,
so.
none of
Well, the
us
can
said
question
OE.
wouldn't have worked out either in this case.
Yeah.
All right.
Question 4.
Question 4 is true or false? The BJCP, or the Beer Judge Certification Program, requires spices in the inclusion. Requires spices to be included in any entrant to the Christmas ale category.
No.
I have no idea.
I'm
It
going
would
with
seem
Travis.
like it would.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't.
I swear it would seem like it would make sense because it's Christmas and
But, I mean,
everything. but
They have
I'm
Weihnachts
kinda,
beer in Germany.
Yeah,
it's Christmas beer. There's absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I'm
gonna
kind of
go
with you.
with the,
I mean-
the brewer on this
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
And if he's wrong, well,
That'd be a real black mark, man.
So we're going with
We're going
with
false.
It's still that malt liquor.
okay.
she's single.
So I'm gonna.
That's an old fish.
I'm gonna read because I had a hard trouble reading what Matt said. I'm gonna read it and I'll let you guys determine if this is right or wrong.
Okay.
Because you guys are saying false. I'm gonna say that you guys are right, but you guys tell me. The Beer Judge Certification Program style guidelines in Category 21B say its aroma should be, quote, reminiscent of Christmas cookies, end quote. Its appearance should be amber to dark brown, and it must taste rich and malty. Interestingly, the guidelines demand spices are required, but they say it must taste rich and malty.
So was this a yes? Did we get that one?
It says that spices are or are not.
we finally get
required.
it?
They say
Answer?
the guidelines demand it, but it says it must taste rich and
Well,
malty.
then true is the answer, and I'm wrong.
It's like
about
killing
that.
my buzz
If it
trying to
demands
figure out
that
the
it
answer to this
requires
question.
it, then
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
it has to have it.
So
Yep.
again,
Which is ridiculous.
Again, blame
Right.
Again, blame Matt Bush.
Yeah,
you go.
we'll blame that.
Okay, now this one I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer to, but if we get some good laughs here, I think this is a pretty good one. This is the solo challenge, as Mr. Matt Bush has stated. He's calling this the Matt Bush Special. Who can think of an original holiday beer with the least appropriate name?
The
Least appropriate name. So, while you guys, we've talked about on one of our shows misogyny and dirty names in beers. Now,
that's when the divas came on.
Yeah, I'm not saying you go that.
Oh, they got
route.
so bad.
I'm not saying you go that route here, but something least appropriate that Matt has requested.
That's a Christmas ale.
As a
official
Christmas,
But I made a Weihnachts beer once, a German Christmas beer once, way back in the day, and I had a guy that suggested I called it Uncle Nick's Chimney Lube, which I thought was inappropriate, but it never made it to the actual name of the beer.
least appropriate name.
Least
Wait, we have to make up a name?
Make up a name.
This is Matt Bush's fault.
This is Matt Bush's fault.
Oh, we have to make up a name.
Make up a name.
It's not a thing.
Make up a name.
Is this the DP? Like, so what?
DP. Gee, I wonder what DP stands for.
I'm going to tap out on this.
Is this the ATM Brown?
It's double pomegranate.
This is
Double
the,
pomegranate.
This is the ATM Brown. It's the
ATM Brown?
You know what ATM sitting?
Because they're going to the ATM for holiday gifts?
No, not that ATM. Do I have to explain it to you?
Never mind. At least Ken got a good laugh. He's still laughing.
Jesus.
Is it the always too malty beer?
I think that is what it means.
The always too malty. Oh my God! I think we're this.
Did that win?
This one jumped the shark.
This one jumped the shark just a little.
ATM Brown with
The always
has
too
to
malty brown. There, Jesus.
There you go.
Very appropriate, actually.
I'll give you guys
The
that
A2M
one.
Brown, always too malty
A2M
brown. So when you see it at Old Nation Brewing,
You will never see that from Old Nation Brewing Company.
Good.
the A2M Brown, and they asked, "What does A2M
boy.
stand for?"
Always too malty. It means always too malty.
Oh my God!
And we have officially broke the studio.
Wow.
You know where you won't see A2M Brown?
North Center Brewing.
North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan.
Which has
Is that close to the Maple
awesome-
Brown? Is that a Maple Brown variant?
It is not a Maple Brown.
Are we
variant.
sure? Can we call them?
Can we ask Bob and ask for?
I think it will be.
So if you're ever on North Center Road in Northville, say hi to Bob and the boys over at North Center.
Which has absolutely awesome trivia.
Awesome trivia. Is it Sporkle trivia, if I'm not
Damn
mistaken?
right.
Are you hosting there anytime
How much
soon?
are you getting paid to bring that up every episode? I'm kind of curious.
Well, he wants to drop his shit, so what the hell with that?
Sporkle Live trivia.
Wednesdays, 7:30.
Wednesdays. Wait. So you're hosting this Wednesday, correct?
No, I hosted this past Wednesday.
Oh shit, we missed
They
it.
drink all the A2M Brown.
You should have told us.
BBA A2M. BBA. Wow.
The bourbon barrel aged.
Oh, that's not what it stands for.
North Center Brewing on North Center Road in Northville, Michigan. Say hi to Bob and the boys for us if you're in town.
So tell us, Old Nation Brewing, where can they find you? Can they find you online? Can they find you? Do you have a tap house? Where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the pub and brewery is in Williamston, Michigan. It's about-
The edge of the universe, Williamston, Michigan.
Yeah, I suppose.
Edge of the universe?
Yeah.
Well, the reason, and if I can say, the reason why I say it's the edge of the universe is because that's how far my company's service territory goes out to the west. So it's a really
I was
far.
gonna say pleb's scared to leave Michigan. That's probably
Yeah, I
the
know,
border.
basically.
I can't drive.
No,
past
Williamston is by far the most western edge of our service territory.
Right.
So that's why I consider it to be the edge of the
It's the
universe.
last town, for example, that's serviced by DTE.
You got
Right.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
You
Oh, so
know
you're
it.
DTE,
I am a
right?
DTE
Okay, right.
guy. So there you go. Edge of the universe.
Yeah, edge of the universe. So it's about 50 minutes from most places central,
Yep.
near a highway here in southeast Michigan.
Yep.
And there is a pub, full service restaurant, brunch on the weekends between
Nice.
9 and 1. Always 13 taps going in house, and a big production facility in the back. We do tours.
So how was it when you guys got started in Williamston? This is always a question I like to ask breweries.
Williamston was great.
Were they?
Yeah, they were fantastic.
No issues in
None.
getting licenses or
Nothing.
and approvals or like that.
No, they were great. They were great. The police department is fantastic. Everybody's cooperative and happy to have a brewery.
Nice.
In town, man.
That's awesome.
It's
to hear.
fantastic.
Especially the few times I've gone out that way to Stockbridge in Williamston. Yes, Stockbridge for all those people that don't know Stockbridge. It's right before Williamston.
Okay, yeah.
In some respects. Yeah, I know.
Thanks for the geography lesson. I appreciate that.
Hey, Nick, do you know where Alberta is?
In Canada.
No, not Alberta. Alberta.
Alberta? No, I don't.
The Berta in Spanish.
For those of you who don't habla español, Alberta is Spanish for.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say. No, but the few times I've gone out there, I've actually seen oil pumps out there in Stockbridge and Williamston. So it's like there's like nothing. There's like almost next to nothing out there.
Yeah.
Along the highway.
Yeah, along the highway. That's true. Williamston is actually a pretty decent functioning bedroom community of Lansing and East Lansing. It's a nice place. They've been super cool and very receptive. Yeah, they're fantastic out there.
That's
a great
good.
place to have a brewery.
That's good.
And they're used to it. Michigan Brewing Company was one of the first breweries in Michigan, and they were out there forever. So they know the deal.
Sweet. Yeah. That's good. Now, you guys obviously were the first ones in Williamston, I'm assuming.
I think, yeah. I mean, unless there's something
maybe.
Pre-prohibition.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was talking about making homebrews back in the day. The homebrew shop that I got the materials from was in Williamston. It was about a half mile away from where the brewery is.
Yeah, those homebrewers something to do out there.
They've been doing the thing a while.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
So you got the are we got to do the fifth question, or was that it?
No, that was it.
that was it.
The fifth question was the always too malty.
All right. Who wants the? I'm going to pass the IPA.
Yeah, pass that over here.
Here we go. We're going to pass.
So even if you
Did
don't like IPAs, I would suggest that you
let me hit
get a
that
rip.
after Rob.
Yeah.
So M43 IPA.
M43 named after Grand River, of course, the conduit between where we are and here, more or less.
Yeah,
right?
no, the further west between.
Are you on Grand River?
We are right on Grand River.
Are you part of
Nice.
the Grand River Ale Trail then?
You know, I
Or-
went to a meeting, and then I don't know if I haven't been following the emails or what, but I haven't been to another one. They're great guys. I mean, I think they're doing a good thing. I'd love to participate.
It's like Grand River between.
They don't like you.
It's like Grand River between probably Williamston, Stockbridge, all the way out to like Howell. There's probably a lot there, but once you hit Howell and then going back out towards Farmington, there's probably not a lot of anything. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are. There's Farmington Brewing Company is there.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I think what
See,
what
Farmington's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the far east.
Yeah.
I
east of
think
that.
you need more malts. Like some people have always too many malts. I think you need more malts in your beer before you.
Don't pay any attention. He's been drinking all day.
I have.
He's got that look on his face like, yeah.
I was playing Pygao earlier, and it was amazing.
Over at Caesars, right?
Caesars, yeah.
Did you win? Or did you break even?
In Pygao, not necessarily, but I played this like blackjack game where there's a live dealer, but on the actual table it's a video machine.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
So they're $5.
They have the thing. They have the
Yeah,
same thing for craps,
I was playing $10 of it, and I wound up like making like $150 on this table. I'm like, oh, I made all my money back.
Oh, good.
So I went back to Pygao, and I wound up
lost your
I
money?
wound up being up about 100.
Oh, good.
So not
Good.
too bad, and that includes the 7 or 8 Belgian moons that I was drinking.
So you're going to
Belgian
100 in
moons.
Pygao unless you're betting 25, 50 a hand.
Oh, boy.
That's what I did over at Caesar, or not Caesar's,
Belgian
Horseshoe
Moon.
Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Belgian Moon, which is a Canadian
Yeah.
version of Blue Moon.
Yeah, no, that when I went to
So-
Niagara Falls, that's what I was drinking up there.
So that's going to do it for us here at Better on Draft
This isn't
Podcast.
quite
9 o'clock
early.
already? Gee.
Almost.
9 o'clock.
Travis, can they find you at
10 o'clock.
Facebook, Twitter for Old
did a
Nation,
third hour?
anything?
Absolutely,
Snapchat?
all that. Yep. I think Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and
Grindr.
Our website.
Everyone's
No,
on
no.
Grindr.
Everybody's on
I don't know.
Ken,
We
are you
probably
on
are
Grindr?
there, but-
I am
Of
not
course
on
he is.
Grindr yet.
I made an account for him. Yes, he is.
It's all right. Next week I'll be officially single, so let's go to.
But you're already
Grindr.
on Grindr. I already put you on there.
www.oldnationbrewing.com for those of you that don't have any of that social media stuff.
Grindr
Don't
come up
forget
on
to check
every
out
episode.
our Facebook page. We're going to be drinking a bourbon barrel aged barley wine, Bourbon County Stout, and
Coffee.
Bourbon
I
County
wish it was barley
coffee.
wine.
Oh, it's still going to taste the same. No
I'd
matter
chug
what you
it.
think of your beer, we think it's better on draft. Have a good night.
Later.
Go Broncos. 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 Go Broncos.